everybody, and welcome back. I'm Denisha Christensen, your host of You Know How This Ends, the podcast that every time you listen to it reminds you that your goals, your dreams, your desires, everything you want in life and more is guaranteed. And the only thing you have to do to get there is to not give up, to keep going, to trust the process, trust your body, trust your God, and just live in that state of peace and trust and love over and over every single day, choosing in. And I am so happy to have a dear friend of mine and Facebook ads queen, Keely Stowicki, here with us today. Welcome, Keely.
Woohoo, thank you.
Indeed, I know, right? So, the queen of Facebook ads, that's quite the claim. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's a recent pivot in my business.
Well deserved.
Yes. So I feel like sometimes, like this path of entrepreneurship and even just life is like a journey. Because when I started my agency, I was doing a different part of marketing, but like the universe was keep like feeding me these little like hints of like, you're supposed to be doing Facebook ads. You're supposed to be doing Facebook ads. And I was like, nah, I'm not qualified for that. And then after 5 years, here I am like, okay, fine, I will do Facebook ads. And
And
so if you're gonna do anything, like one of my values is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you're gonna do something, like do it to like become a master of it. I'm one of those people where if I like when I got into being an equestrian as a teenager, I bought like all the books, I like went all the clinics, like I was gonna be the master of training horses. And then, when I went through school, I was like, I'm gonna do this the best, like the best way I can. So of course, when I have my businesses, like it's always like I'm going to learn how to really master this. And so, queen of Facebook ads. Like, I don't think you get it. I guess you could be the president of Facebook ads, but the queen sounds cooler,
queen sounds way cooler.
right?
And you literally are killing it. You are a master of Facebook ads. Keely and I worked together. I hired you, gosh, almost like, well, a little over a year ago now. I
Yeah.
think it was May of 2024 when we started working together because I wanted to start using Facebook ads to promote my webinars. And
Yeah.
I had no clue how any of it worked. And you came on and you had all the right questions for me to answer and all the right information that I needed and popped in and just did them. Literally, it was so amazing. But I loved your process of because you did all the ads, but the questions that you had for me to get the clarity so that you could write ads that actually worked were so pivotal in me in my business and where I what I was wanting and where I was going. And I will forever be grateful for the time that we spent together working together. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Because your business evolved a lot. Like
Yes.
you started over here and then we ended up way over here. And that's why, like, now with the size of my business, I don't take on a lot of like new coaches because that is the process. Like it goes beyond just running ads. It's like, what is the messaging? Who are you helping? What is the offer? And if the business owner is not super clear on that, it makes my job even more difficult
Very hard.
and like
Yeah.
more of a process. So yeah, it was cool to watch your evolution. And now you're like it was a fast one too. Like
Welcome
some
to my world.
people, yeah, some people like step into it and it takes them like 5, 10 years to figure it all out. And you did it in like a year.
Yeah. Welcome. Well, I would say welcome to my world. And I remember you telling me and not so much anymore, but for a while there, I would get really frustrated because I'd feel like I had like, oh, okay, I'm doing this. And I know that all of you entrepreneurial women who are listening will identify with this. Oh, this is my focus. This is what I'm doing. And then you get into it and it's like, oh no, we're over here. We're doing this. This is my focus. This is my passion. And you shift and you pivot. It's
Yeah.
just this continual evolution, right? But if we're stuck on the idea that it's this one thing and we're not open to the growth, we're not open to the expansion, I have found over and over and over that God gives us a vision and higher power, whatever your word is, please substitute it. But God gives us this vision, this idea that will move us forward into the next step. And we think that vision, that idea is the end goal. And God's like, you're so cute. This is not the end goal. This is one step. This is one piece. Go forward on it. Move into this energy because that's where you'll get the next piece, right? That next piece
Yeah.
of clarity.
Well, I
And
think that ideology of like, some of it's like the sunk cost of like we've already invested so much, so we have to keep going. But
yeah,
also I think it's something that society programs into us when we're really young because I've always
you want
struggled
to
with
be when you grow up, right?
well, yeah, and there's this idea of like permanence is success. Like longevity is the goal. You want to be married when you're 18 and like stay together for 60, 70 years or whatever. I don't know what the number is. But then you get into a job and you work that till retirement. You buy the house, you build all the equity in it and you die in it, right? Like that's how I grew up. And so when I started getting be in my 20s and like I did this thing, but then I wanted to try this thing over here. I was like, no, I gotta focus on this thing. So I think we have that mindset of
Yep.
just,
Well, and
yeah.
we think that it's just A to B, and
Hmm.
that's what it is, or even like A to Z, and that it's a straight line. But very rarely is it ever a straight line. I mean, you listen to anybody who has really accomplished great success in life, and it's never a straight line. Steve Jobs says you can never connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them moving back. And so if we're stuck on the idea that it has to be this one certain way, and this is the one thing, and we're not willing to what I call zigzag, if we're not
Yeah.
willing to zigzag through life, and especially understanding your astrology and your human design is so powerful. This because I'm a generator. I'm a sacral authority generator. I am literally meant to zigzag my way through life. I'm a 4/6. I'm Sagittarius. I'm Capricorn. Like I'm literally meant to zigzag my way through life, climbing the next mountain that feels enlightened and inspiring and joy filled. That is how I live my life. And if we and I half the people on the planet are meant to live that life as way 75% of it is generator types. We're meant to live moving into what lights us up. And Keely is one of the rare few who is not a generator type. Keely, you're a projector. And I love
Hmm.
how you said there at the beginning that like you whatever you do, you want to be the expert on it, right? You want to be all in expert. And projectors are actually here to like master a system or a process, master something, and then share it, teach it. And that's exactly what you've done with your Facebook ads. It's absolutely beautiful to watch and to see that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's really hard for me to focus on multiple things. And that's been my zigzag is like when I first started, I was the master of doing lead generation funnels. Like I came in through the ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson world, the one funnel away challenge. I was like, what is this type of marketing I never learned in college? And
Uh-huh.
then part of that was like zoom in and it was like the traffic side. The Facebook advertising was like the secondary piece of it that was so fascinating to me. And I just like found myself good at it. And then everyone started asking me about it. And I think that's kind of how you find your zone of genius is you have to go out and try a bunch of stuff. And then you find something that like fascinates you, at least for me, it fascinates you. You start learning about it. And then all of a sudden other people are like, wait, you're learning about it? You know how to do that? And then they notice.
Yes.
And then people start asking you about it. And you're like, yeah, I know it, but like, I don't think it's that cool, you know?
Which right there, that's the other piece, right? Like your zone of genius is the area that's so natural to you that you don't realize that not everybody does it that way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I recently started working on a project. They have spent $75,000 in ads and they were having really high costs per 1,000 reached, which is a metric we kind of look at, and they were having high lead costs. So they brought me in to like reevaluate what they were doing. And then he started explaining some of his ideas, and I was like, wait, you guys aren't already doing that? Like, everybody knows that that's what you're supposed to do. And so I was like thinking I wasn't qualified for this project because I was like, they spent all this money. Of course they know what they're doing. What am I going to have to offer? Only to come in and realize that like they didn't know what they were doing and they did need help and they didn't have the understanding of the basic things. So I think a lot of times we get that imposter syndrome and we downplay what we actually know.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so true. So, so true. So tell us a little bit. I want to talk about Facebook ads, and I also want to talk about your journey of picking up and moving to Mexico just after, was it during 2020 or just after?
It was during the pandemic.
During
Yeah.
the pandemic, moving to Mexico, and now you're back in Oregon. You're going to maybe buy an RV and travel around and do like all this while you're making thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like that's incredible. So we're going to leave all that for just a little bit, but let's
Yeah.
talk for a second about the actual Facebook ads, how they work, why they work, and I feel like a big question that if I had had that understanding when we first started, the timing. How
Hmm.
do you know when your company, when your business is ready to start running Facebook ads?
Yeah. Okay, which question do you want me to answer first?
Let's start with kind of some of the logistics.
Okay.
Facebook ads.
Yeah. So for those that don't really know what Facebook advertising is, it's very different than like posting content. A lot of people, when I say, oh, I do Facebook ads, they think I'm like posting content. But what we do is very different. It is we create very strategic messaging systems that that look like content on Facebook, right? Like you're scrolling and then you see those sponsored posts. Those are Facebook ads. So someone paid to put that video or image there.
Billboard.
Yeah, billboard there, like on purpose with a goal in mind. And so what you can do, and the magic of this is that you can tell a very specific message, and then you can either have people go opt in for a webinar, buy a low ticket product, fill out an application, send a message, or it can just be a giant billboard if you have a brick and mortar and you want more people to like know you exist. You can just put a big old billboard there and like show it to as many people as possible. So the first step is we kind of determine what the end goal is, and then we reverse engineer the message and the process from there. And so that's the magic of it. Like we've had, brick and mortar stores reach, 500,000 people in a month. We've had, service-based businesses get messages that they can then book into clients. We've filled webinars with hundreds of people. Like we've sold low ticket courses at, 3 to 4 times return on ad spend. Like you can do a lot of things if you understand how to play the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So, so good. And when we were working together, I'm trying to remember, I don't even know if I have the numbers written down, but we went from, I think our first webinar had like 3 people, right,
Yeah.
that showed up. We had over 100 people that registered, and we realized like, oh, we're getting people registered, but we're not like our follow-up, our what's that called?
Hmm.
Our nurturing of actually getting them to show up. We needed to work on that. And so we did. And by the time we were finishing up, we were consistently getting a good, probably, I don't know, 20, 30 people that were coming to each webinar each time. And
Yeah.
then we shifted and realized, okay, we need to reassess. We need to come back to this. And if we had kept going, would have been one of those where we're getting, a couple hundred people in each time. I know it will.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to see that process and to understand kind of what's going on behind the scenes when we're doing that and getting, like you're saying, what's your point? What are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell something? Or are you just trying
Hmm.
to get people on your email list? Or are you just trying to get seen, right?
Yeah. And so that's kind of like, you asked me, well, how do they figure out where to start,
Yeah.
when to start doing Facebook ads? And personally, every time I've started a business, I always start with Facebook ads. One, I'm not a big on content creation. I don't like it. I don't like to be, I feel like when you have to create and post content, then you have to be on social media more, which I don't even have it on my phone, which is ironic. So I knew that I didn't want to do a lot of content. So when you're trying to get more exposure, you either pay for it with money or you pay for it with time.
Mhm.
And I'm a big proponent of doing Facebook ads, from the beginning. But that being said, not everybody has startup capital for that. Serve it you have to have the ad spend and then you have to pay someone, or you have to spend the time to learn it yourself.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Can I tell you about that? We thought that we were just going to learn it ourselves. My assistant and I, Taya, at the time, we had like a little course that we had bought and everything. And I was like, Kate, you're going to learn how to do Facebook ads. And she's like, okay, that sounds great. She liked all that stuff. And literally like day one, she's like, what about this? And how about, and we had so many questions. We probably spent, oh gosh, we probably spent a combined 100 hours between the two of us trying to figure this out. And I
yeah,
finally asked the teacher who had done the course, I said, how you make this sound like it's really easy and it's not. And she's like, well, some people it is like they're more technical minded, and it's technologically minded, right? And it is, but really it's just meant to serve as like a basic intro for you to start realizing, is this something that I like, that I want to dive more into and spend the time to get to know and learn, or do I want to hire this out? And I was like,
yeah.
you did not make that clear. I do not want to spend the time and energy on learning how to do this. Where's Keely?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we met in a Facebook group because you were looking for someone that could do a variety of things. And
Yes.
then I remember being like, if you want experts, in these things, they're not going to be like an all-in-one unicorn.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know, right? Until you know
Yeah.
it. Then you
Yeah.
know.
It's true.
So
But yeah, going back to that question of like, when do you start? It's one, if you have the time to make content, but it's also a long game. My agency, because we've grown 230% this last year. It's insane. And so, yeah,
love it. So
I
happy
had
for you.
to, hire more team members to be able to
Pause
keep
1 second.
up.
Everybody
Yeah.
who's listening, I want you to say, if she can do it, I can do it. Instead of
Yeah.
feeling jealousy, excuse me, or thinking like, oh, like it works for her and it's not working for me. I want you to turn all that off. And I simply want you to say, if she can do it, that means I can do it. Because Keely is amazing, but she's just a human, just
Yeah.
like you.
I've like, I invested in courses and I was in the trenches trying it. And I've had a lot of failures before getting to this point. And I've had years where I could have made more money working a normal job for sure. Like for sure. So it's been a journey getting here. But yeah, I believe anybody can get to this point if you just stay resilient enough through the entrepreneurship
Just
journey.
keep going, right? Don't
Yeah.
give up. You know how this ends. Just keep going.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
resilience and diligence that came up again just yesterday. It was like those are literally two of the most powerful things for entrepreneurs. You have to be resilient and be willing to persevere and be diligent. I remember hearing that the first time and I was like, I've got that in spades. We've got this. Not everybody does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll finish the question of when to
Okay.
start.
Yeah.
So in my agency, we typically take on clients if they are generating at least 10,000 a month recurring, or if they have the startup capital to afford 6 months of Facebook ad service. Um, that's kind of like our premise. There are ways to learn it. This October, we're going to be launching like a group program. So I'm finally moving into having those courses and those group programs.
Congratulations.
So for those that are like, I want to learn how to do this and like get something going before I jump into investing with someone to do it for me. Because there's a lot of outdated Facebook ad information. And so I want to make something that's a little bit more current. Yeah.
And and on that, I can't stress enough, if this is something that lights you up, if you're like, oh my gosh, like diving into like all these details and the numbers and the metrics and like that just
Mhm.
lights me up. Like, yes, yes, yes. I know there are people that exist that are like that. You're one of them, right? I am
Yeah.
not one of them. So this is a really good awareness to go, does this light me up? Is this the best use of my time? If it is, 100% do the course to learn how to do it. If you're
Yeah.
like, oh, like to think of like diving into all those numbers, please do not spend your beautiful, precious time and energy doing that. Please, if your business is at that point where you are ready for the Facebook ads, like Keely said, you're making 10,000, or you have the revenue for it, which make sure that you watch the velocity banking training that I did with Mitch Nilsson a few episodes ago. That is how you can find the capital. That is how I found the capital before my business was ready to dive into some of the things that I have done in the last year. There are resources, there are options. Velocity banking will help you to find the capital of how to do that because it will be so much more worth your time and your energy to hire someone, to hire a Keely to do your Facebook ads than to try and figure it out yourself if that does not light you up. Literally, I was just talking with a client yesterday and we were talking about how frustrated she's dealing with MS, not multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and just a bunch of other stuff that's going on in her life right now. That, as in the course of the conversation, realized, oh, it's because I'm not doing the things that light me up. I'm spending my time, I'm spending my beautiful, precious generator energy in these other areas that I think I should be doing instead of trusting and taking that leap of faith, which we'll dive into here in a second of how Keely did that. I can't stress it enough. The truth of it is better to spend the money than spend your time if it doesn't light you up. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
I just had a call this morning with a doctor that I run ads for. He's launching a supplement brand. And, you know, I come and I look at his website because we're doing the ads for it. And I'm like, hey, these things are kind of missing. And these are some of the things we're doing UCG content, which is user generated content. So we're working with influencers that then we send the product to them and they give a raving review and we create content around that. But those creators are asking certain questions that aren't featured on the website. And so he's like, okay, I'll go do it. I'm like, no, 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 you're a doctor. Like, you need to go do doctor things. You don't need to be writing some little thing that needs to go on the website. So that's a prime example of like, he doesn't need to be doing that. He doesn't even like doing it.
No,
He
no.
needs to find someone that can do that part of it.
Yes. So, so good. Let other people do what they're good at so you can do what you're good at. So your energy is aligned and feeling good. And like I said, if it brings you joy to learn something new like that, and you're like, that'd be super cool to understand how it works, cool, go do it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, if I had the money, there's no way I would be spending my time doing this, then let's talk. Watch the Velocity Banking, I almost said course, the podcast, and let's talk. Let's find you the money. Find the money. Money is the easiest thing in the world to figure out if you have the right tools and resources. Love
Yeah.
it. On that note, anything else you want to say about like the timing of and the Facebook ads in particular?
Nah, I think that's good. Like, just, it is something that either has to be learned or something that's outsourced. So, look into it earlier than later because making content and trying to get awareness in other ways takes a lot of energy and time. And if you don't like doing it, this is a really good alternative.
And if you are ready for it, please use Keely. Please use someone that I can refer, that I can know, that I trust, and that I can refer to you. I cannot tell you how many people, and you've had this too, Keely, so many people have told me stories of when they've used Facebook ads and then nothing has worked and the person disappeared with their money. Literally one, so Mitch Nelson, who did the velocity banking training with me on the podcast a few weeks ago, he is one. I talked to him about like, I'm thinking maybe we should hire Keely and run some ads for our real estate investing business. And he's like, as long as you know who she is and can vouch for her, because he's like, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with absolutely like no results from Facebook
Yeah.
ads in the
It's
past.
crazy. I hear that all the time.
I
I've
know you
had
have.
friends that are like, "Oh, I just hired these people and we spent 5,000 on one campaign and we were getting crazy cost per result." And I'm like, "Why did you keep spending money if it wasn't working?" Like, we know in the first 30 days if it's going to work or not.
And then you
Don't,
pivot, you do something different if it's not.
yeah, you
Find
make changes to the strategy.
So
Look at the,
it's still a long game. Like it's a
yeah,
process. It's not something that's gonna, I mean, sometimes it might just work right the first month, but it takes most of the time it takes a few months to figure out, right? So it's a process for sure. But work with someone like Keely who knows how to pivot and isn't
yeah.
gonna walk away with your money. It's
Yeah.
not worth
Yeah,
it.
we even have a clause in our contract that says if we don't get you leads and sales within the first 45 days, we work for free until we do. And, knock on my wooden desk here, like we always get leads and sales in the first 45 days because and doing experience, like mastering experience, like you can't beat it.
You. Plus, from the human design energetic side, you're a projector. You see things. You're that orchestrator that's in the front of the orchestra, organizing and orchestrating and leading everything in together. And you have that beautiful, beautiful gift of being able to see what needs to be aligned, what needs to be shifted so that it can all work cohesively together. I've loved watching that in you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah, it's beautiful. Can't recommend enough working with you. So on
Thanks.
that note, for the last 5 or 7 minutes that we have here, so 2020, we're talking about like living life in alignment, trusting the process. You moved to Mexico, and that's another really great story as well, is that's the whole reason, talk about using your feminine energy in business. That's the whole reason I hired Keely. I was interviewing all these other people and for my Facebook ads and different things. I don't even know if it was Facebook ads in particular at the time, but it was for something. And literally what stood out to me about you was you were living in Mexico and I grew up in Mexico and I love Mexico. And the fact that you chose to move there and you were learning Spanish and you were immersing yourself in the culture, I was like, I don't know why, but I just think that's the coolest. And I want to connect with her. Like we had this beautiful love for Mexico in common. And it just felt right. It was that energy that was drawing me to you
Oh,
more,
thank
more
you.
than the specifics and the logistics, right? So
Yeah.
trusting that process as well. But yeah, tell us about that leap.
Yeah, so right before the pandemic, like I had 3 years prior, I'd opened a vintage consignment store. We'd bought a piece of real estate, like, grew it using Facebook ads. Like I use a lot of Facebook advertising to advertise that business and was doing pretty well. And then the pandemic happened and it I had a little bit of financial strain. It's a long backstory involving another business I had with an ex-fiance and some things that happened there. But really, what happened is my health started to fail. I started to have chronic stress indicators where I was getting like weird infections. I had chronic body pain. I was mentally not okay. It was even like dark thoughts, like all that kind of stuff. I just was not doing well. And so my doctor at the time was wanting to put me on antidepressants. And I was like, you know what? I don't think my life is this lifestyle I'm living and the weight of these responsibilities is worth it. I'm going to let this go and I'm going to go find a better version of myself. And
Mm.
so I just wanted to be free from it all. Like I didn't want to have my health and my like spiritual energy like drained by these responsibilities. So I sold off everything and I was gonna travel around like Airbnbs and stuff. And then I don't know, Mexico just called to me and ended up there. And it was hard. Like the first 4 days, I basically slept on the couch and cried and didn't leave the condo, even though it was so beautiful, just because it was like, now what? Like who am I now? What am I doing? What does my future look like? Like I feel like I'm on another planet because I hadn't been to Mexico since I was like 13, 14 on vacation in Cabo with my family. Like, I didn't
Uh,
know what I was doing.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That it feels like a death and rebirth. Like it feels
Yeah.
like mourning and being like you felt impressed to make that leap of faith, that change and move there and stuff. But and I literally so I do channeling and I connect with women throughout history. And one of my favorite people to connect with is the mother of creation, is Eve. And I was chatting with Eve about this very same thing. And she she said, one of the things that drives me crazy about you humans is that you think you have to have it right. You're
Hmm.
always looking for like what's the right way, the right thing to do, like the perfect, the exact right way to do something right. And she's like, when I chose to leave the Garden of Eden, and this is the truth according to Denisha. This is my experience, right? I'm not trying to like replace scripture or whatever.
Yeah.
This is what I felt from her. When I chose to leave Eden, I had no proof, no evidence that it was the right thing to do. It felt like the next thing that we need to. It felt right, but I had no
Hmm.
proof, no evidence. And so I did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's the same
Right?
thing I went through. I didn't actually the contrary. Everybody was like, you're gonna get abducted. Is that even safe? Like, you're so crazy. I could never do that. Like basically everybody told me I was crazy. And I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna go.
Just
Like
feels right,
I
right?
was 30, I just turned 30. And so that was 5 years ago. And I've been there 5 years now, and I didn't even have an income. Like I had enough money from selling off my assets that like I could live for, a little while, but I didn't want to spend that money, right? I wanted that to save for like investments. But I was like, well, I got this skill of doing these funnels and I'll start an agency and like I see other people doing it, so I'm gonna try it. But and within 45 days, I had gotten $7,500 in contracts. And I was
Wow.
like, okay, I guess this is gonna work out.
Guess we're doing this. I love
Yeah.
that. I love, and it's that reminder that when you like, there's so many things that are such beautiful. You could write a book about this, right? And have like, this
Yeah.
is what this means, and this is what I learned from this, and this is principle, right? Because when we make a solid choice and we choose and we're all in, like you said, I sold all my assets, I moved to
Yep.
Mexico. Like I'm all in on this plan. This is what I'm doing. The universe will support you. The universe will show up. God will show up. But if you're waiting, I feel like most people, and I'm sure you see this as well. I feel like most people are kind of waiting, like, well, once I have the clients and I know that I can support myself financially, then I'll move to Mexico,
Yeah.
right? But you
Yeah,
haven't,
it's true. Yeah, they want it all perfect before they do anything. And I've just that was one of the biggest lessons in jump first and you'll find out you're okay. And even like the worst case scenarios that we make up in our mind, even when they do happen, they're not even that bad.
still okay.
Yeah.
You're
Like
always
it's
okay.
like it's still fine. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to like be homeless. It's like, really? We really have to be homeless?
Yep. And if you're going to be homeless, then what better place to be homeless than on a beach in Mexico, right? In a small
Exactly.
little
It's
town. Okay,
just,
we'll survive. We'll go eat some bananas in the jungle. Like, we'll
yeah, maybe I can only afford like $100 a month apartment, but at least it still has water and a toilet. So,
like you figure it out. Your worst case scenarios are still always figure outable.
yeah.
So, so good. And so then tell us how, I mean, obviously nobody's life is perfect, but what have you seen? How has that been a pivotal part in your health, in your
Mhm.
spiritual awareness, and your connection to God and your business? How now, if we say, Steve Jobs, you can't connect the dots moving forward, only looking backwards. Now that you're able to look back over the last 5 years and kind of connect those dots, what have you seen?
Yeah, so it gave me space to find myself. It was basically I went through like the Phoenix Rising, where it was like the old version of me had to die, and then I found a new version of myself. And one of the great things about Mexico is one, the food, two, the people, and three, like as an American making dollars, like my cost of living was about a fourth of what I would have spent in the US. So it gave me this space to be able to realign myself with like really where I wanted to be. Because prior to that, I was doing things the way I thought I was supposed to be doing it. And I was heavy in debt. Like I was just like working crazy hours. I was like just not taking care of myself because I was just trying to hustle. And so it gave me time to like find the feminine and like journal and meditate and like do all that hippie stuff that really helped me figure it out. And also like try and fail. There were months where I only made like $1,000. Like there were months I made 10,000, but there were months I barely made it by. And I like was just thankful that I had that space and time to be able to do that.
Yeah. Uh, so beautiful. I know you've got people in there. I'll we'll chat for a minute. It's fine. It's so fine. And literally the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter what we're doing as much as how we feel while we're doing it. We think that the 10K month or the 100K month or the $1 million year or whatever it is, we think that having the things and having the results is what's going to bring us our joy. But
Yeah.
it's the experiences we're having along the way. It's the growth, it's the progression, it's the expansion, it's the joy, it's the love. It's all, I love how Emily Fletcher says true bliss is feelings fully felt, fully feeling your feelings. And
Yeah.
when you're in it for all of it and you're there, like I can imagine you laying on the couch in the condo, just sobbing and crying and being kind of that dark night of the soul, but look what came from it. Look what
Yeah.
growth came from it. And now you're traveling all over the US. You're speaking, you're sharing, you're teaching. You're the queen of Facebook ads. You're healthy, you're beautiful, you're vibrant, like all these beautiful, amazing things. It's the whole lifestyle that you wanted. And it came from taking that leap of faith, moving to Mexico, figuring things out as you went, and being led by God every step of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely like when I look back on it, part of it is like, wow, I can't believe I've been there 5 years. And then the other part of it is just like it's been such like I don't even recognize the person I was when I first took that leap of faith.
Yeah.
Like if I really think about it, like, and I had a conversation with her, or I like stepped back into that body and felt like what she felt, I'd be like, ugh, what
Right?
is this? Like,
Right? Oh,
why, why was I like that? And so I had a conversation yesterday morning because I'm also going through another, like, I feel like I'm on the, like, not so much the dark night of the soul, but like another quantum leap. Um, and so I was having a conversation with a guy, he's 67, and he was like, you're just heading into like Keely 6.0. And he's like, his name's Merrill. He's like, I'm on Merrill 11.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that.
So I was like, okay, that's a good way to put it. It's just like you're just becoming another version of yourself. And they say it a lot in the
And
entrepreneurship
we
world,
continually
right?
will, right? We continually,
Yeah.
Apple's not like, okay, Apple 13's out, we're done, everybody enjoy.
Yeah.
This is the perfect, like they're already planning for Apple 14, right? Or iPhone
Yeah.
14, whatever it is.
I think I'm there in 16 now.
Whatever it
I
is.
have a 13 and I'm like three behind. So maybe they
Whatever
skip
it is.
some numbers and they're on 20. But they say that in entrepreneurship world, they say, the version of you that got you here is not the version that's going to take you to the next level. And it's so true. We have to change like our energy state and work on our mindset. And, even what right now, my big challenge is like the inner work of like being kinder to myself because I'm always an overachiever. So it's like, you're not doing enough. You need to like try harder. Oh, you said that thing wrong. Like, why didn't you think of that? Like that's my challenge now because I went through the ebb and flow of like, okay, I left everything, was very sad, gave myself grace, and then now I've stepped back into like a more powerful role, merging into that. But then I find those old habits are starting to like creep in again. So it's like, okay, how do I merge and integrate?
So literally, I love that you brought that up because literally we have been in Pluto retrograde for the last several months and we will be for a few more months at the time of this recording. Literally everybody on the planet is experiencing this in one way or the other, where we're going back and we're giving the opportunity to revisit areas of our life where we're like, I thought I healed this.
This is how I'm
I
feeling right
thought I
now.
already dealt with this. I thought we were
Yeah.
good. And the universe is like, except for this other piece
Yeah.
that we want to just make sure you're all cleared out so that you can be as aligned. We're never like, I mean, it's this weird thing. We're always aligned and yet we're never fully aligned, right? Because we live
Yeah.
on a planet, Earth,
Yeah.
right? Where it's imperfect. But where you are as aligned as possible and able to receive all the beautiful blessings that are here for you. So
Yeah.
you are not alone. I have been in there the last few months. Everybody on the planet literally is going this to some, depending on where it's hitting you in your chart and what stage of life you're in, you'll experience this either like super profoundly or maybe just kind of mildly where you're like, oh, there was maybe like a day where I had some old stuff come up, but not really. Or there might be like months where you're in it and it feels like never ending. But literally,
Yeah.
and that's how it's supposed to be. We're continually progressing and expanding and continually healing and clearing and aligning. So you're not alone,
Yeah.
girl.
That's how I've been feeling because I feel like I'm going back into what feels very similar to 2020 and 2021. And I'm like,
No,
no, thank you.
look at all the resources and tools and training you have now to recognize even that you're in that
Yeah.
and consciously choose out.
Yeah. It's just been, yeah. But it's also causing me to revisit things that I'd kind of swept under the rug. One of the things I've gotten into recently that I previously did not like is breath work. I don't know how much breath work you do, but I
Breath work.
really don't. I didn't like it so much, but this mastermind I've joined, they're doing a lot of it and we're doing it like once a week and we do like these visualizations and it's like walk into the house and you meet your inner child and I'm like, "No thanks. No
Like
thanks.
your
I
inner
don't want to
child.
see her." Like,
Okay, so there you go, right? There's
yeah.
some work to do there. That's beautiful. Dive in, and call me
Yeah.
if you need some support because I'm all of it. Yes, all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, personal development's wild because there's so many, like we are such like dynamic beings that there's like, and I feel like so many people just scratch the surface of like who they are. And so when you get to really like know yourself and like know different past versions of yourself and like
Yes.
integrate all that, it's really crazy.
We're being invited, everybody on the planet is being invited to let go of old ways of thinking, old ways of being, old ways of doing, and open up to a higher, holier, more aligned, more light-filled way. And it's just, and we can stay stuck. We can choose out. We can choose to stay in it and to stay stuck on the past, or we can choose in to the unknown,
Yeah.
the adventure, right? That leap of faith, and that's
Yeah.
always going to be the best path forward is trusting and taking that leap of faith. And again, if you remember, there's a great way to close it up. If you remember who you are, whose you are, and how this ends, you are the son, you are the daughter of a God who has promised to give you everything that they have and more. That's how this ends, is all of your hopes and dreams coming true beyond your wildest possible imaginations. Like literally, the life that I'm living now and what I'm doing and the people I'm connecting with, I would have never, even last year, 2 years ago, I would have never ever guessed that this is what I would be doing, who I'm associating with, where I'm moving forward with the real estate investing and the coaching and all these things that was never even on my radar. So how in
Yeah.
the world do you think that you're going to know, Keely and everybody who's listening, how in the world do you think that you're going to know what you're going to be doing in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I have something to add to that because in 2020, I went to Funnel Hacking Live and it was my first time there and it blew my mind. I saw the people on stage and I was just like, whoa, those people were like celebrities. And now many of them are actually, I have their phone number. And like
There you go.
many, like one of them is going to be speaking at our event, our 3-day event we're having in October. And another one of them is my mentor now. And like another one, like I just had a phone conversation with them about mutual funds the other day. Like it's really cool because over the 5 years, I've, worked my way into this community where now these people are my friends. And
Ah,
so if you would have been telling me, oh, those people are going to be your friends in the future, I'd be like,
no way.
no. Those people are way up here.
There you go. So
Yeah.
much better than anything you could have anticipated.
Yeah.
And the cards along with it, right? So much
Hmm.
harder in a lot of ways than we could have anticipated. But the hard allows us to appreciate and enjoy the good. It's that contrast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such a beautiful part of it. So we're here for all of it. Love it. Embrace it. Keely, you're such a beautiful example of that. I'm
Thank you.
so grateful for our connection. People listening, you will not go wrong with bringing Keely into your life, with hiring her for your Facebook ads, with joining her circle, liking. In fact, Keely, how can they find you on social media and all the things?
Yeah, I'm not very good at doing social media, so you can find me on my website. It's Keely, Keely 360.com. And you can grab my freebies. I think somewhere on there I even have my phone number and you can text me or call me.
Perfect. 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 My
Yeah.
life is blessed because of you, Keely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
All
I'm so
right.
glad we met.
Same, 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 same. All right, everybody, you know how this ends. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, friend, I totally forgot to tell you about the E3 Nationals Conference that I'm a part of coming up here October 23rd, 24th, 25th in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the most valuable real estate conference of the season. You won't want to miss it. And you might be like, wait, what is like, why the real estate thing? I truly believe that real estate investing is the key piece that is going to help you go from wherever it is that you are right now to more affluence, more prosperity, next level business, next level relationships and opportunities is bringing in the massive income that real estate can bring in, as well as the passive income that real estate can bring in. Not to mention all the tax benefits that we as small business owners or entrepreneurs need to capitalize on. So come hang out with me. If you get a VIP ticket, you can sit with me and have lunch with me, and that's all included. Your lunch is included all 3 days. And we're going to be meeting with and spending time with and having lunch with and special meet and greets with the top real estate investors in the country. Not just teachers, not just trainers, but people who are actually out doing deals and making money. This is a piece that I feel so strongly about is helping men and women to bring in real estate investing as a key piece in their success, even before you think you're ready. You've heard me say it before. I thought real estate investing would be a piece that I did later, after all the other pieces were in place, after my coaching business was established and thriving. And after we had, hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around that I was like, gee, what should I do with all this money? No, God had clearly told me this is the piece. Real estate investing is the piece that's going to help your coaching business to expand and progress. It's going to be the key piece, the foundational piece of creating your empire and bringing everything else in. And I feel so passionate about that. And I want to share that with you. So come hang out with me at E3 Nationals Conference, October 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Salt Lake City, Utah. Even if you're not in Utah, you need to come and travel out to it. We're renting an Airbnb where a bunch of us friends are going to stay together, and we've got you covered with that. So let me know if you have any other questions. Check out the links in the comments, and I'd love to see you there. Thank you for listening. Bye.